The words "become a better you" glimmer across all of Earth, a creation and improvement, a step forward in all of humanity. New-Genics has enhanced the life of almost every human across the globe in the year of 2163. Arwen's integrated organic bionic system has spread its alien-like technology to not only America, but to those less fortunate countries, allowing for citizens to move quicker, do tasks more productively and precisely, and think more clearly overall. Arwen, being the first successful test to his ingenious creation of technology, is on top of the world, having a company worth $2 trillion. Legs made out of carbon fiber, arms covered in flesh but powered by science, and a brain that is half human, half robot, creating an objective and subjective individual with little to no flaws in decision making. Arwen has influenced the planet so that 16 of the 22 billion individuals who inhabit this earth have a cerebral bionic plate in their brain created from his technology. The world as a whole is more peaceful, and happiness seems to be at an all-time high for nearly all citizens, with a crime rate of 2% worldwide, poverty at a minuscule 1% worldwide. Some say Arwen's scientific breakthrough has pushed the world 1,000 years ahead in terms of technology. Some even consider Arwen a god and ruler of humanity, while others consider him the demise of Earth by creating such a technology that disenfranchises humans from who they truly are. These individuals who demise Arwen have come to be known as the patents. Though Arwen is targeted every day by these patents, he thinks little of the dangers that they present. He could eradicate them if he chose, but he is forgiving and caring. Many would come to believe that a savvy businessman like Arwen would care little about anyone other than his business, but Arwen is different. In reality, he is just a family man, a man devoted to his two children, Charles and Ross, as well as his loving wife, Emma. Though Arwen's brain and body is part robotic, his heart is as rich as it comes, and his business means nothing when compared to his family. Every Friday afternoon, Arwen clears his schedule to go out and eat at a mom-and-pop diner with his family. Unfortunately, though his Friday afternoon meal became routine enough for the patents to predict the best time to strike. On November 23rd, 2163 bullets flew across the diner, striking Arwen, his family, and all the individuals within the diner. Flesh and robotics visually separated from the bodies of Arwen and his family. Minutes later, the shots ended, and all that was heard was the slight twitching and malfunction of the bionic technology that had been integrated into the bodies of the victims. Bionic engineers rushed to the scene where Arwen and his family were airlifted to a nearby emergency New-Genics hospital. Bionic doctors worked precisely and vigorously to dismantle and restore the cerebral bionic plates of Arwen and his family. By the day's end, only one member of the family had lived to see another day. That disheartened individual was Arwen, his body fully restored but his heart shattered. The emotions hit Arwen like a tidal wave, and he began to detach himself from the world. Arwen returned home that same evening to soon set himself in bionic lockdown state in an attempt to emotionally cope with the loss of his family. 6 months passed since Arwen's bionic shutdown, and the world has turned to shambles. Riots flowed into the streets, and murders skyrocketed. On May 23, 2164, Arwen terminated his bionic shutdown to find the world in such a tragic state. Arwen could not understand why all of this had happened. His hate of the patents still clouded his judgment, though, which made him incapable of understanding even the most minuscule of things. Oddly enough, though, as Arwen studied these rising murders, surprisingly all of the murders were killings of patent members, not one single New-Genic patient. With the world's population down to 21 billion, the entire patent population had been eradicated in just 6 months. With this hate still lingering with Arwen's mind, but no one to direct it towards, Arwen began thinking about his family and how they had been unjustly ripped away from him. These thoughts continued for days, but in an odd shape of events, wars began to occur between nations. This puzzled Arwen as to how these nations run by objective leaders could not come to an agreement. Yet they decided to fight instead. One after another, nations began to go at war with each other. Civil wars broke out, and the chaos became more global than ever before. Millions of flawless New-Genic citizens died each day, and Arwen had no solution to why this was happening until one day he recalled an incident of the past. This incident was when he first tested his New-Genic experiment on someone other than himself. This test involved Arwen's own two cats that had successfully went through with the procedure and were part organic, part science like Arwen himself. Oddly though, as Arwen's New-Genic technology began to spread worldwide, his stress and fear of something catastrophic became more noticeable in his posture and presentation. Soon after the first failed New-Genic operation, Arwen's cats became extremely hostile towards each other. Ultimately, this hostility ended in a vicious fight which left one cat dead. At the time, Arwen overlooked this and pushed it as a normal feline behavior, but now this incident was shown to be a precursor to these more dramatic and fatal events. This connection between the wars and riots with the fatal feline event caused Arwen to establish a theory. This theory was that his emotions controlled each and every New-Genic citizen. Understanding that New-Genic citizens are the only living people on this earth now, Arwen knew he had the power to control them all, but his emotions invaded his will. Being the loving and caring man Arwen is, he attempted to control his emotions, but the human mind that was still cohesively attached to his brain would not allow him to hide his emotions. This ceaseless death that was occurring across the globe constantly rang in Arwen's conscience that it was his burden to bear. Coming to the conclusion that his mind is what is triggering all of this hostile behavior and fatal endings, Arwen reached for his gun and pointed it to his bionic and organic brain. As he pulls the trigger, there are no bullets. Numerous talk show hosts are excited to interview Arwen to hear all about this new invention.